Hey, what's up YouTube? Goratha here. So I'm making another video update to my Saboteur, aka the Sabo character. Been playing this character for the past 2 weeks, and I feel like I've learned enough stuff to make another video. This isn't going to be like a build guide yet or anything like that, but more of like what I've learned and kind of the direction I went in, basically stuff like that. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and let's get into it. I quickly want to mention before we get into the video that if you guys like this type of content, make sure you remember to like and subscribe. Most of my viewers are not subscribed, and I figured I'd just throw it out there because I don't say it that often. Hope you guys enjoy the video. So I'm going to go through the main idea again. So we're using Scourge Arrow to trigger multiple Manaforged setups. We're using Scourge Arrow because of the channeled skill. This is important because we're crafting minus mana on both our rings to get really low mana costs on our other arrow attacks. So Scourge Arrow triggers them pretty much on cooldown. CDR is very important, and let's talk about CDR. So the last video I made, I said CDR doesn't have breakpoints like cast and crit. I misspoke a little bit there. It has breakpoints, it's just not cast and crit breakpoints. Let's talk about the breakpoints. So the important breakpoints for Manaforged are 38%, 52%, 69%, 90%, and 117%. So if you're not playing a Saboteur, you're not going to have like the 90% or 117%. Honestly, even as a Sabo, it's probably maybe not worth even going for the 117%. But yeah, it's something to keep in mind. The main source of CDR on this character will be from the bow, like the Crystal bow has 25%. The quality on the gem is 10%. The Saboteur node, like clockwork, that's 30%. And the belt is 12 to 20%. That's from Shaper, Redeemer, or like crafted / veiled. The boots can have 5 to 10% on the implicit or 20% from the Shaper boots. Also, Bishals can get 3% CDR now as well. So yeah, that's a lot. Basically, if you just get like CDR boots, the Sabo node, the belt, you should be able to get to 90%. I don't have any of that yet on my POB because I'm playing SS Hardcore and I just haven't managed to get the gear yet. I basically just have the 52% breakpoint, which is like the quality on the gem, the belt craft, and the Sabo node. So not too crazy. It's also one of the main reasons I'm playing Sabo. Sabo is a lot easier to get CDR. If you're playing something like a Deadeye, you need a lot more in gear. You also can't hit the high breakpoints. Sabo Blind Door is really strong defensively. This character is felt really insane defensively. I haven't really struggled at all in that regard. And yeah, you get a lot of damage from Saboteur actually. Like the Explosive Expert node is a very big damage increase. It's like 30%, I think, or something like that. And it's just very good ascendancy overall. Crucible bow. So like I said, there's a lot of good options on the Crucible bow, like the CDR, for example. I think double damage is the next best node after CDR. I'll talk about this in a bit, but attack speed doesn't really matter that much for this character. So getting like reduced attack speed on your weapon isn't actually a damage loss because of the way Scourge Arrow works. I'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, the double damage reduced attack speed is very good. We're currently using Life Tap on our Crucible bow, but Life Tap is very strong and it's a good damage increase as well. The way Life Tap works in Manaforged is it basically makes the triggered cost 0. So even if you have like 1 mana cost on your Scourge Arrow, it would trigger the Life Tap setup on cooldown still. Life Tap plus Tanyu Ahi. So let's talk about that a little bit. So basically Tanyu Ahi gives you Adrenaline and Onslaught when you recover your life with Leech. This is important because Life Tap basically always makes it so you're like never full HP. Every time you attack, you lose HP, and you get your life back by leeching. You have pretty much 100% uptime on Adrenaline and Onslaught if you have something linked to Life Tap, like one of the bow links. Why no attack speed? So, like I said before, attack speed doesn't really matter that much for this character, and I'll kind of explain why. So, Scourge Arrow is a channel skill, which means it has very high base attack speed. If you look at Scourge Arrow Gem, it'll have 190% attack speed of base. This means it attacks very fast because it has to channel to do the majority of its damage normally. But since we're using it just to trigger, you get a ton of attack speed without much investment. This means we could make use of the like 20% reduced attack speed, double damage, Crucible Tree node, and it gives a very slow attack speed weapon. Like we don't need attack speed on our weapon. The attack speed doesn't really matter too much. How are we scaling this character defensively? We're not using Determination or Armor. I'm scaling my Fizz reduction from just Fizz converted to Ellie, Lightning Coil plus like 15% Fizz converted to Fire and Helmet. A Taste of Hate would be really good if you manage to get one of those. I don't have one. And running Purity of Elements. Now, this fixes our res very easily and also makes us the ailment immune. And since I'm ailment immune, I'm also taking Lethe Shade down. This is something I wasn't doing before. I basically took Lethe Shade for bosses, like Shaper Beam and stuff, and like Uber Elder, stuff like that. I'll show you guys some footage of the Uber Elder. Lately Shades is very, very solid. It's pretty good for mapping as well with Purity of Elements. You basically just have to deal with poison and bleed. And I'm running a bleed removal on my Life Flask. That's how I'm doing with that. The other thing which we swapped up or changed or gained, I'm using Corrupted Soul now, like Glorious Sanity. I packed over here. It's a lot of point investment. If you're playing on softcore, you probably don't have to go this far. But I really wanted to make use of Ghost Dance. And Corrupted Soul was the best way to get Energy Shield while also using a Lightning Coil. And we're using Ghost Dance plus a plus a ES on hit Cobalt Shoal to get our ES back. This has been pretty solid. I haven't really noticed my ES like ever being low. It's usually up 100% of the time. You could also use an Energy Leech Gem on one of your link setups if you feel like you need more ES Leech or ES Recovery. Cast on Crit. Instead of linking my Scourge Arrow to damage links, I have now linked my Scourge Arrow to Cast on Crit. And I'm doing that because I want to have like Assassin's Mark, like Flame Wall. There's a lot of options here. I'm using Assassin's Mark for the quality of life. I don't want to self-cast it. And Flame Wall is actually the highest damage link I noticed. Like Flame Wall is adding like 15% more damage for me currently. But yeah, basically Cast and Crit utility on the Scourge Arrow. Since we're just using it to proc our skills anyways, it's not really for damage. The PUB says 5 million DPS. I actually feel like it's a bit higher than that. It's like kind of impossible to get like an accurate number on this type of build because as you can see, we have like 20 different arrows. It's very hard to get like an accurate PUB number. The damage is very high. I've been doing 4 or 5 ways in Legion, and all the bosses I've killed have died pretty fast. So I can't really complain about the damage, especially considering we have a lot of room to improve the damage. My gear's not exactly that great because I'm playing SF hardcore. I'm missing a lot of damage on my bow. I'm missing a lot of CDR. I don't have a Watcher's Eye. I don't have a large Thread of Hope. A lot of these things that you'd have in Trade League, I just don't have. You could probably easily double or even triple my damage in Trade League. The last thing I want to talk about is Hungry Loop. I'm currently not using one, but you could theoretically go for a Hungry Loop for the Scourge Arrow and link that to like a 5 link with damage links, and then have Cast and Crit set up on your Manaforged. So Cast and Crit does work with Manaforged. You could have like a 4 link utility for that, or a 5 link even, or a 6 link even. Like if you wanted to run like Flame Wall, Assassin's Mark, Tornado, you could do that in a 6 link with Manaforged and Cast and Crit. Or you could just have another 4 link Manaforge and just give up on the utility skills and just self-cast Assassin's Mark. That's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about and everything that's been updated. Like I said, it's not like a build guide. I'm not really going to talk about too much on the tree or like the gear past that. I totally do want to say for leveling this character, I would recommend just leveling with Lightning Arrow and then switching to Scourge Arrow when you have the minus mana crafts. Whenever you get the minus mana crafts, you enable the Scourge Arrow Manaforge tech. That's basically when you can start using it. But yeah, Lightning Arrow is fine. Just level with Lightning Arrow, Artillery Ballista. Kind of the same way I level the champion. Yeah, anyways, I don't want to ramble too much. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.